Today, I'm facing one of nature's most formidable stairways to the heavens, Tiandu Peak in China's legendary Huangshan Mountains. They call it the Celestial Capital Peak for a reason. It juts into the sky like a dragon's tooth, a jagged shard of granite reaching an elevation of over 1,810 meters. This isn't just a hike, it's a vertical battle against gravity, a mental game played out on stone steps carved into the side of a cliff. The air here is thin, and the challenge is immense. The mission is simple: get to the top and back down in one piece, soaking in the raw, untamed beauty of this incredible landscape. It's a place that tests your limits and rewards you with views that seem to belong to another world. The legend of Huangshan, or the Yellow Mountains, precedes it. This place has inspired poets and painters for thousands of years. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you can see why. Granite peaks, twisted pine trees clinging to sheer rock faces, and a sea of clouds that rolls in and out, changing the entire vista in minutes. But Tiandu Peak is the crown jewel of danger and adventure here. It's not always open to the public. They close it for years at a time to let it recover. Hearing it was open was a call to action I couldn't ignore. It's an opportunity to connect with nature in its most extreme and beautiful form. Before you even take the first step, you have to understand what you're up against. This climb is not for the faint-hearted or the unprepared. If you have a fear of heights, this place will confront it head-on. If you have heart problems, bad knees, or haven't seen the inside of a gym in years, you should seriously reconsider. The mountain demands respect. It requires physical stamina and, more importantly, mental fortitude. You need to be able to control your fear when all that separates you from a 1,000-foot drop is a single narrow stone step and a cold metal chain. This is survival, one step at a time. My journey began at the base, looking up at what seemed like an impossible ladder to the sky. The initial steps are deceptively gentle, luring you into a false sense of security. But soon the path narrows, and the incline becomes relentless. You're not just walking, you're climbing, using your hands and feet in a primal, four-limbed scramble. The air grows cooler, and the sounds of the world below fade away, replaced by the rhythm of your own breathing and the pounding of your heart. This is where the real adventure begins, where you leave the ordinary world behind and enter a vertical kingdom of rock and mist. The climb is a relentless assault on your senses and your muscles. The stairs are not uniform, they are carved directly out of the mountain's granite spine. Some are so narrow your feet barely fit, while others are so steep it feels like you're climbing a ladder. In many places, the angle is over 75 degrees. Your thighs burn, your calves scream, and you rely heavily on the thick, cold chains bolted into the rock beside you. These chains become your lifeline, the one thing you trust as you haul yourself upward, step by agonizing step. Looking down is a mistake. The world falls away beneath you into a dizzying abyss of green and gray. A word of advice: leave the trekking poles at home. On these near vertical sections, they are more of a hindrance than a help. You need your hands free to grip the chains, to balance, to feel the rock. I saw people struggling with their poles, getting them tangled and creating a hazard for themselves and others. Your best tools here are your own two hands and a strong will. You need to be agile, responsive, and completely focused on the task at hand. One misplaced foot or a moment of distraction could have serious consequences. This environment demands your full, undivided attention at all times. The psychological challenge is just as intense as the physical one. Fear is a constant companion. It's a cold knot in your stomach when you peer over the edge, or when a gust of wind tries to push you off balance. But you have to control it. You have to channel that adrenaline into focus, into careful, deliberate movements. The key is to break the climb down into manageable chunks. Don't think about the summit. Just think about the next step, the next handhold on the chain, the next deep breath. It's a mental game you play with yourself, a battle between your instinct for self-preservation and your drive to push forward into the unknown. The weather on Huangshan is famously unpredictable, and it adds another layer of difficulty to the climb. One moment you can be sweating under a clear blue sky, and the next you are enveloped in a thick, chilling fog that reduces visibility to just a few feet. The mist can be disorienting, making the path slippery and hiding the sheer drops just inches away. Rain can turn the stone steps into a treacherous slide. You have to be prepared for anything with layers of clothing and a waterproof jacket. The mountain makes its own rules, and you have to be ready to adapt to its ever-changing moods. Two sections of this climb are legendary for their difficulty and have earned their intimidating names: a thread of sky and Carp's Back Ridge. First, you encounter a thread of sky. This is not so much a path as it is a crack between two colossal granite boulders. The passage is so narrow that you have to turn sideways to squeeze through, and so steep that the stone steps are almost vertical. It is dark and claustrophobic. As you look up, all you can see is a sliver of daylight, a mere thread of sky high above. It feels like the mountain is trying to swallow you whole. Getting through a thread of sky requires you to hoist yourself upward, using footholds and handholds carved into the rock. It's a full-body workout in a confined space. I saw a larger gentleman get momentarily stuck, a look of panic flashing across his face before he managed to wriggle his way free. It's a humbling experience that reminds you of your own scale against the immensity of nature. You emerge from the darkness, blinking in the light, feeling like you've been reborn. It's a short but unforgettable part of the journey, a true test of your ability to handle tight spaces under pressure. But the ultimate test of nerve lies ahead. Karp's Back Ridge. This is the most famous and feared section of Tiandu Peak. It's a narrow spine of rock, perhaps only a meter wide, with terrifying precipitous drops on both sides. The ridge gets its name because it resembles the arched, scaly back of a giant carp leaping out of the sea of clouds. You are completely exposed to the elements here. The wind howls around you, and there is nothing but air and a long, long way down on either side. The only safety measure is the low metal chains running along the path. Crossing Karp's Back is a pure mental game. You must not look down. Your focus has to be absolute, your movement slow and steady. You grip the chains with white knuckles, your heart pounding against your ribs. Each step feels like a monumental achievement. The sense of exposure is overwhelming, a raw, primal fear that is hard to describe. But when you reach the other side and look back at the razor-thin ridge you just crossed, the feeling is one of pure, unadulterated triumph. You have faced one of nature's great challenges and emerged victorious. It's a moment of incredible empowerment. The views from Tiandu Peak are the ultimate reward for all the fear and effort. They are simply breathtaking. From the summit, you are treated to a 360-degree panorama of the entire Huangshan Range. Countless granite peaks rise like islands from a vast, swirling sea of clouds. Twisted, ancient pine trees, some of which are hundreds of years old, grow in the most impossible places, their branches reaching out like gnarled arms. The landscape is a living inkwash painting, constantly changing as the light shifts and the clouds drift by. It's a view that touches your soul and makes you feel incredibly small in the grand scheme of things. What surprised me most on the climb was the sheer diversity of the people attempting it. I saw seasoned mountaineers, but I also saw families and young couples. Most inspiring were the children. I watched a little girl, no older than 7 or 8, scrambling up the steep steps ahead of her nervous parents. She had no fear, only a look of pure excitement and determination on her face. Her courage was a powerful reminder that fear is often a learned response. It was a humbling sight, seeing her tackle the mountain with such joy and confidence, putting many of the adults to shame. Of course, not everyone was so brave. I saw people frozen in place, clinging to the chains, unable to move forward or backward. One man had a full-blown panic attack on a particularly exposed section, his friends trying to coax him along. There was a strong sense of camaraderie on the path. Strangers offered words of encouragement, helped each other over difficult spots, and shared snacks and water. In this extreme environment, a shared human connection emerges. You are all in it together, facing the same challenges, and there is a silent understanding and mutual respect among everyone on the path. The mountain itself feels alive. It breathes with the wind and weeps with the rain. The rapid weather changes are a spectacle in themselves. In the span of an hour, I experienced brilliant sunshine that illuminated every detail of the rock, followed by a thick fog that blanketed everything in an ethereal, mysterious silence. Then, just as quickly, the wind would tear a hole in the clouds, revealing a stunning peak in the distance. This constant transformation is part of what makes Huangshan so magical. You're not just observing a static landscape, you are witnessing a dynamic, powerful force of nature at work. Reaching the summit is only half the battle. As any mountaineer knows, the descent can be even more dangerous than the ascent. Your legs are tired, your adrenaline is fading, and it's easy to become complacent. But going down the steep, uneven steps of Tiandu Peak requires even more concentration. You are facing forward, looking down at the dizzying drops, which is mentally taxing. Your knees and thighs take a relentless pounding with every step. You have to lean back, Keep your center of gravity low and rely heavily on the chains to control your descent. It's a brutal, jarring process. My advice for the descent is to take it slow, slower than you think you need to. Many people try to rush, and that's when accidents happen. A tired mind makes mistakes. A wobbly leg can easily give way. I saw several people slip and slide down a few steps, saved only by their grip on the chain. It's also crucial to be aware of climbers still coming up the path, as many sections are too narrow for two-way traffic. Patience and communication are key. This is the final test of your endurance and mental discipline, the last hurdle before you can finally say you've conquered the peak. Despite the fear, the exhaustion, and the aching muscles, I would encourage everyone who is physically able to visit Huangshan at least once in their lifetime. You don't have to climb Tiandu Peak to experience the magic of this place. There are other, less extreme trails that still offer incredible views. But if you are seeking a true adventure, a challenge that will push you to your limits and reward you with an unparalleled sense of accomplishment, then the celestial capital peak is waiting. Just be smart, be prepared, and respect the mountain. It's an experience that will stay with you forever. As I took my final steps off the stone path and back onto level ground, a profound sense of achievement washed over me. My body was battered, but my spirit was soaring. I had faced the vertical world of Tiandu Peak and come out the other side stronger and with a deeper appreciation for the raw power of nature. The adventure is not just about the thrill, it's about the perspective you gain. When you're up there on that narrow ridge between the clouds and the abyss, the trivial problems of everyday life melt away. All that matters is the view, the challenge, and the simple, profound act of survival.